What I'd like to do is take you through the innovation that HP's been rolling out this fall in our imaging and printing business. Put it in context of what's going on in some of the customer segments that we're going after, and as well as against the backdrop of our strategy that we've been executing to for some time. It's that HP is going to make it easy for all customers to print anything, anywhere they want, at any time. And that we're fundamentally having a real breakthrough there in tying printing to what's the trends that are going on in mobility and the content explosion. This is a strategy that we've been executing to for a number of years. And when we look at the printing business, we look at it in everything that's printed, from not just office documents and photos, but also to what's printed in packaging, what's printed in billboards, signage, etc. Literally everything that ends up on a printed page of some type. And then we break that down into A4 pages, and we size the market worldwide at 53 trillion pages. It's a lot. That includes what's printed analog and what's printed digitally. Analog being things like Heidelberg presses, old-fashioned traditional presses that might be used to print anything from books to packaging. A lot of that stuff is moving to digital. About 10% of those pages are digital right now. And when they're digital, they're addressable by the technologies that HP brings to market. And also when they're digital, it becomes an opportunity for that customer to save a lot of money. They eliminate a lot of waste. They're able to make a good environmental contribution because we reduce the footprint. We also use more economically friendly chemicals. What we've been doing in two areas is trying to strengthen our position in photo and in what we call managed print services. Big push for us over the last several years, tremendous progress. So one of the areas that we're getting those pages is moving photos. In the analog to digital, this is that more traditional printing I was talking about before. Again, a lot of progress there. We've rolled out these digital presses. These are presses that print up to 1 million pages a day. We're printing books, literally hardcover books on those. So we feel really good about our progress in these two areas against going after that 53 trillion pages. But as you know, there's been a tremendous content explosion, and depending on whose numbers you look at, it's growing, doubling every year. It's 10x the amount of content. A certain percentage of that, the non-video piece, is printable content. People might have an interest in printing. And we have not been able to, up to this point, really find a great way to connect printing to that shift to mobility and the content explosion on the web, up until now. Now, what might surprise you is that about 85% of our customers, and we've done some extensive surveys on this, they want to print something from their smartphone. And it's difficult, if not impossible, as many of you know, to print something off of a smartphone today. Tremendously so. I don't know if you watched the launch on September 2nd that Steve Jobs did of the web iOS 4.2. The #1 feature he announced, the first enhancement to the operating system he announced, was the fact that you're going to be able to print from the iPad. And this was in a room just full, literally thousands of Apple admirers and lovers. He got about a 4-second applause during that presentation. You can watch it out on iTunes on iPod. It was quite. We were all cheering, thinking he might get a standing ovation for printing, but it didn't happen. But it was very clear that iPad customers want to print. We know from our own experience that people want to print from photos. They want to print photos like in the commercial. They have the practical applications are printing. You're on your way to a meeting and you receive an email. You want to be able to print that document. You need it for part of the presentation, things like that. Or you just come across a web article, something you're reading, and you want to be able to print that as well and have a historical archive of it. Or send it to somebody, one of your friends' printers, etc. Your parents' printers is a good example. You might just have one of these and you send it to them. But one thing I want to make clear is our intent here isn't, and our belief isn't, that we enable web printing for mobile devices and everybody starts printing everything everywhere. That's not what we're trying to do, and that's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is people are going to have use cases where they have a very specific need to print something, and they need to be able to do it very easily. And that's what we're going to be solving the problem for. And that's great for our customers. We've seen it in spades that they want to be able to have that capability. And what we're going to be doing is, what it does for us is it's going to, just a small change in the number of pages that the customer prints makes a huge difference to us. You know, if the average customer prints between 30 and 40 pages a month, if they print just one more print job, which is an average of about 4 pages, it would have a huge impact on our business overall. And it's not unreasonable, based on what we've seen so far, that you could have one job a month that you might want to print, or another page or two a month that you might want to print, somewhere, somehow. And the initial use cases that we've been testing and people have been validating with the rollout prove that. In fact, it might even be much, much beyond that, but that would be a significant improvement in the growth rates of page usage in a way that makes, does something good for the customer, simplifies it. So what we've done, you know us for great printers, and we're not giving up that tradition at all. We spend about $750 million a year just investing in great printing technology, design, price points, functionality, that really continues to hold that strong leadership position we've created. But what we've seen is if we want to take this to the next level and really connect with how customer trends are evolving, we've got to add software and service capabilities that allow our customers to be able to access content anywhere they want, anyhow they want, print it anytime they want. And so what you're seeing us do with this announcement is we've built out a cloud-based infrastructure, end-to-end. It's all HP proprietary. It's called the ePrint Center. And basically, in our devices, we've made these printers full, starting at $99 on up through our DeskJet, DesignJet, LaserJet lineups, made them full citizens of the web, meaning they're fully web-enabled. When they connect and you install them, it logs on and gives a unique email address to each printer you have. And that user, when you set it up, you set up a whitelist and a blacklist. And the whitelist is people that you will allow to send prints to your email or to your printer. And the blacklist is one that you deny certain people or sites to be able to avoid the spam and the security issues. And by doing that, now you've got basically a network. And what we're talking in lots of commercial discussions with companies like office centers, office supply centers, many national post offices that have copy and multifunction in their offices, that they want to be able to have these type of printers set up in the post office or in their copy center that would allow you to send your job to it, and then you go and you just swipe your credit card and you pull the print job, your print job prints out. It's spooled onto a printer and prints out when you need it. So you're walking to a meeting, you need to print something, you already know you got the local, what would be the, is it Kinko's or FedEx, or who would be a local copy center you would use? Okay. Just send it right to them, you get there, you swipe your card, your job's ready. Problem solved. So this part of this is literally as simple as sending an email. You can do it with any document that you're looking at on your smartphone. And this is, from everything we've seen so far in the feedback from the press and analysts and partners, is truly a breakthrough. And what it does is it really finally connects printing to that whole shift in mobility in a very easy, relevant way. This other side of the equation that we're talking about, and that's also announced, is the apps. So using that same infrastructure, and we've built alliances with some of the industry's biggest names like Google, Yahoo, Disney, many others, to be able to have resident on your printer, touchscreen, apps that would allow you to get at the most useful content that you value. So with one button, your printer would literally go out, pull down your today's crossword puzzle from the New York Times. Go out, pull down your Sudoku puzzle. Go out, pull down the recipe of the day from your favorite cooking show. Right? Pull down kids' cartoons, which is actually one of the most popular ones that we're seeing in terms of usage from customers. You know, moms, busy moms want something for the kids to do. They hit the button, out prints the cartoons, the kids can start coloring immediately. The kids just love it. Very, very popular. But the idea here, think big, think App Store. This is just the start to legitimize this. We're releasing what's called the software developer kits, which is the specs for developers to be able to start writing apps for this. And over the next several months, you'll start to see apps come out supported by HP that'll be tested and certified on our store, that'll people will be able to pull down all kinds of different useful apps. And I'm certain there's some young kids out there who are going to come up with some fantastic application that we never thought about for printing that's just really, really useful. They'll probably make millions doing it, and we'll be happy for them, but we'll also take all the prints that they help us generate when they do it. So this is a longer term play, but again, just the idea of thinking of your printer fully integrated as a full citizen on the web, able to send documents and receive documents both ways over the web, easily as sending an email, and allowing you to get at content when you want, where you want, how you want. This isn't intended to complicate things, this is actually intended to simplify. Because from the customer's perspective, nothing is easier than sending an email. Everybody's pretty much got that down pat. And by giving each printer a unique email address and enabling a secure connection through the cloud, we do that. The apps is just we're going to continue to build functionality and its capabilities down the road beyond what we're launching with Disney and Google and Yahoo and Reuters and Mappy and there's BizTree, all these other ones. But this isn't limited to a consumer play. We're going into the business section as well with this. So there'll be business apps. And in fact, you'll be able to develop custom business apps that would sit on your devices that would help your customers. In the enterprise space, we're putting full functioning apps that people will be able to develop, like a mortgage application. See that the way that people interact, get the content, use it and move it around on the cloud changes dramatically. There's a lot of advantages to that. You simplify the process, you take a lot of steps out, and you remove a lot of cost. And by having a good, engaging customer experience, it's very, for lack of a better term, very iPhone-like. You mainstream it with customers much quicker because there's so much familiarity with it. So we think this is significant.